She thought no one saw her. But the cameras on my dock caught everything. Karen, the self-appointed HOA queen, strutting down the pier like she owned it, unhooking my boat and laughing as it drifted away. She called it repossession. 2 days later, the FBI called it grand theft. My name's Mark Evans, and all I ever wanted was peace and quiet by the lake. After years of working in marine mechanics, I finally bought my dream house, a cozy place on the shore, with an old dock and my pride and joy, a vintage blue fishing boat named Luna. When I moved in, I knew there was an HOA, but I didn't think much of it. The neighborhood looked perfect: calm water, friendly people, barbecues on weekends. Then I met Karen Fuller. Karen wasn't just any neighbor, she was the self-appointed enforcer of the HOA. Clipboard in hand, she patrolled the streets like a sheriff in a Western movie. She'd take pictures of lawns, leave notes on mailboxes, and host HOA meetings like court hearings. The first time she stopped by, she pointed at my dock and said, "All boats on this lake must be registered with the HOA." I told her my dock predated the HOA, it was listed in my property deed. She frowned and replied, "Rules are rules, Mark. Everyone follows them here." I smiled politely and said, "Well, I follow the law, not your clipboard." That was mistake number one, at least in Karen's mind. From that day forward, I became her personal project. It started small. Anonymous notes on my door, boat not compliant. Then letters threatening fines for unregistered watercraft. I ignored them until one morning, I stepped outside with my coffee and froze. The dock was empty. Luna was gone. At first, I thought maybe the storm the night before had broken the line. But when I checked the security footage from my dock camera, my jaw dropped. There she was, Karen Fuller herself, at 10:43 p.m., walking down to the water with 2 men and a flashlight. They unhooked the ropes, towed my boat away, and laughed while doing it. I immediately called the HOA. Karen answered, voice smug as ever. "Oh, Mark. We had to remove that boat. It was in violation." "Violation of what?" I asked. "Non-compliance," she said. "If you want it back, you'll have to pay the recovery fee." I hung up and called the sheriff's department. The deputy sighed when I explained. "If it's an HOA matter, sir, it's civil. You'll have to take it up with them." So basically, they could steal my property, and I couldn't do a thing. But I wasn't about to let it go. I posted the video footage to the HOA Facebook group. Within an hour, it was deleted and I was banned from the page. Karen even sent me a letter saying I was harassing the board. That's when I realized something bigger was going on. A few neighbors messaged me privately, saying Karen had been relocating other people's property to kayaks, paddleboards, even fishing gear, all in the name of regulations. And one message stood out. "Check the marina 2 towns over. That's where she keeps the stuff she takes." The next morning, I drove to Clearwater Marina, about 45 minutes away. And there she was. Karen's silver SUV was parked near the docks. My boat, Luna, sat tied up, repainted white, with a brand new name stenciled on the side, Karen's Dream. I walked closer, took photos, and noted the registration number. It hadn't just been stolen, it had been re-registered under her name. I called a friend of mine, Dave, who worked at the county's boating registry office. When I gave him the serial number, he whistled. "Mark, that registration's only 2 days old." Owner, Karen Fuller. She submitted the paperwork herself. "She forged ownership papers," I said. "Yeah," he replied. "That's felony-level fraud if she crossed county lines." That's when it hit me, she didn't just steal my boat. She committed a federal offense. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I called my lawyer. Together, we documented everything: the video, the timestamps, the registry transfer, and the neighbor testimonies. Then we sent it all to the FBI Property Crimes Division, who handle interstate marine theft. They said they'd review it. 2 days passed. I stayed quiet, pretending to let it go. Meanwhile, Karen strutted around the neighborhood, bragging about her new boat. She even posted photos online of her weekend getaway. What she didn't know was that every post she made was digital evidence she'd just publicly shared across state lines. On the second morning, around 8:30 a.m., I was sipping coffee on my porch when I heard the sound of engines, not boats, but SUVs. Unmarked black vehicles pulled up in front of Karen's house. 4 agents in dark jackets stepped out. They knocked on her door. She opened it, smiling at first, probably thinking it was delivery. But when they showed her badges, her smile vanished. The entire neighborhood peeked through windows. Karen stood frozen on her porch as the agents spoke. After a few minutes, one of them stepped aside and 2 more carried out boxes, files, a laptop, and what looked like fake registration forms. Then I saw it. The agents unhitched her trailer, with my boat still tied to it, and started photographing it. Karen's voice rose. "This is a misunderstanding. That's my property." An agent held up a document. "Registered with falsified ownership papers. You're being investigated for interstate property theft and forgery." She screamed something about calling her lawyer, but they calmly read her rights. The neighborhood was dead silent. Even the birds seemed to stop. After a while, the agents towed the boat away. Karen was left standing there, pale as a ghost, her phone dangling in her hand. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. It was an FBI agent. "Mr. Evans, we've confirmed your ownership. We'll return your boat soon. Thank you for providing such complete evidence." I thanked him and hung up. For the first time in weeks, I actually smiled. 2 days later, the HOA held an emergency meeting. Of course, I showed up. Karen wasn't there, obviously. The vice president, Tom Jacobs, ran the session. His hands were shaking as he spoke. "As most of you know," he said, "our president, Mrs. Fuller, has been temporarily suspended pending investigation." Someone in the back whispered, "Investigation?" "She got arrested." Tom cleared his throat. The board was unaware of her actions. "We'll be conducting a full internal audit." I stood up slowly. All eyes turned toward me. "Tom," I said, calm but firm, "you might want to start by checking your financials. She used HOA funds to register my boat. And according to county records, there are 3 others she forged ownership for." Gasps filled the room. One woman near the front, Mrs. Delgado, raised her hand. "She took my paddleboard last month. Said it was community property." Tom turned pale. We'll handle it." "Yeah," I said, "that's what she said too." The room went quiet. By the next week, it was all over the local news. HOA president arrested for boat theft, forgery, and fraud. Reporters even came by the lake to film B-roll of my boat being returned. When I saw Luna again, she was a little scuffed and painted wrong, but she was home. I repainted her back to her old color, bright blue, like she was before Karen touched her. A few neighbors stopped by, some embarrassed, some amused. One of them, Tom, said, "Mark, we owe you an apology. You saved this whole community." I laughed softly. Just doing what any boat owner would do. Karen's house went up for sale within a month. She moved out before her court date. Last I heard, she was facing multiple charges and a mountain of legal fees. And the HOA? They begged me to join the board. I told them, I already have a full-time job keeping people like Karen off my dock. It's been 6 months since that mess, and the lake is peaceful again. The new HOA board is actually fair. They don't patrol the neighborhood, they help maintain it. Luna sits back in her rightful spot, lines secure, paint shining under the morning sun. Sometimes I catch myself smiling at how calm it all feels now, no shouting, no threats, no power trips. Every weekend, a few neighbors come by with their boats. We laugh, fish, and enjoy the water like it was meant to be enjoyed together, not controlled. One afternoon, my neighbor Sam asked, "You ever think about forgiving her?" I looked out at the water and said, "The lake already did." He laughed. "Guess Karma's got a boat license now." Maybe he was right. Because that's the thing about power, people like Karen think they have it just because they can enforce rules. But power without integrity? It sinks faster than any stolen boat. Some people mistake authority for ownership. They think rules give them power. But real power comes from truth and patience. Karen thought she could take what was mine. She ended up losing everything she pretended to control. So when someone like her comes for what you've earned, don't shout, don't fight, just document. Because sometimes, the calmest person in the room is the one steering the whole story. And as for me? The lake's quiet now. Exactly how it should be.